Some stories begin with a kiss. Others start with a crown. Mine started with a lie, a swipe right, and a man who smelled like cedarwood and danger. They call me Prince Theo of Ellenhart back home, but here in the States, I'm just Theo, an international student with shaggy hair and a fake last name. No bodyguards, no tiaras, no palace. Just a dorm room with a flickering light bulb and a box of instant ramen I have no idea how to cook. I just turned 18. Finally free. Finally legal. Finally curious. So I downloaded Grindr. I know. Royal scandal. Tabloid hell. But I'm in a new country. My parents think I'm studying political science and preparing for the throne. I'm really just trying to figure out who the hell I am. That's when I saw him. Jake, 22, 3 miles away. Shirtless in the sun, wearing a tool belt and nothing else. His muscles looked like they had muscles. And those eyes, clear, sincere, not like the ones back home full of expectations and lies. I messaged him. He responded. We met. It was supposed to be a one-time thing. Just a hookup. He didn't ask questions, didn't pry. He made me feel human. Like I wasn't just a pawn in some centuries-old game. But then we hooked up again. And again. And now I think I'm falling for a guy who thinks I'm just some foreign college kid with a weird accent. I don't know how to tell him who I am. Or that I want to be his.
I don't usually mess with college kids. Especially not the ones who look like they still get carded buying Red Bull. But Theo, he was different. Not just because of that smooth accent or the way he blushed when I touched him. There was something in his eyes. Like he'd seen the world but still didn't know where he fit in it. He showed up at my place in a hoodie 3 sizes too big and socks that didn't match. The hookup was hot, yeah, but afterward, he stayed. Talked, asked about my job, my tools, my day. So we met again, and again. I figured he'd ghost me eventually. Most do, especially the rich kids. But he keeps coming back. And now, hell, I think I might be catching feelings. Only thing is, he's hiding something. I can tell. Maybe he's got a boyfriend. Or maybe he's not out. Or maybe he's some spoiled trust fund baby slumming it with the local construction guy. But when he looks at me, I don't care who he is. I just don't want him to go.
We were lying on his couch. The old leather one with a worn-out corner and a blanket that smelled faintly of sawdust and soap. My head was on Jake's chest, listening to the steady thump of his heart while a rerun of some crime show played in the background. You ever think about the future? I asked, softly. Stupid question, really. But I couldn't help it. My brain had been loud all week. Jake didn't answer right away. His fingers slid through my hair. Sometimes, he said. Mostly I think about next week's bills. Or if I'll finally get paid on time. I smiled into his shirt. That was Jake. Honest. Simple. Real. I wanted to tell him everything right then, about Ellenhart, about the palace, about the suffocating expectations I'd left behind. About my mother, the Queen, who still thought I was dating Lady Celeste and hadn't a clue I preferred men in work boots. But instead, I said, I think I want to stay here. In this moment. Just like this. Jake kissed the top of my head. Then stay. No one's kicking you out. I closed my eyes. The truth was pressing on my tongue, aching to escape. But I couldn't ruin this. Not yet. Not when I didn't know if he'd still want me if he knew the crown that waited for me back home.
Theo's asleep beside me again, curled up like a cat, breathing steady, cheeks squished against my arm. The TV's still on, playing some documentary he said he wanted to watch. He lasted 10 minutes before he was out like a light. And here I am, staring at the ceiling, feeling like my chest might split open. I've dated before. Hooked up more than I'll admit. But him, it's different. It's the way he listens. The way he makes my shitty apartment feel like a safe place. The way he says my name like it means something. But I'm not dumb. There's something big he's not telling me. He flinches when his phone buzzes. Gets cagey when I ask about his past. He never talks about his family. I caught him once texting someone in a language I didn't recognize. Then he panicked and changed the subject. I don't care where he's from. I don't care if he's rich or running from something. Hell, I'd even understand if he told me he used to be straight. People figure themselves out. But if this keeps going and I want it to, I need the truth. I look down at him. "Hey, Theo." I whisper, not expecting a response. "Who are you really?" He stirs but doesn't wake. Just presses closer. Whatever the answer is, I think I already know. And I think it's too late for me to walk away.
The email came at 2:14 a.m. Subject: urgent, embassy contact requested. My stomach dropped the second I saw the royal seal. I didn't open it right away. Just stared at the glowing screen in the dark, heart pounding. Jake was asleep beside me, one arm draped across my waist like it belonged there. Like I belonged there. I'd never felt more at home than I did in that run-down apartment with the cracked tiles and the man who smelled like sweat and cinnamon. But reality has claws. The palace must have figured something out. Maybe I missed a check-in. Maybe the media back home caught wind of something. Or maybe someone spotted me on campus or, God help me, on Grindr. I finally opened the email. Prince Theo. We require your immediate response. Your father, His Majesty, is growing concerned regarding your distance from protocol. The Queen has requested a video conference by end of week. Do not delay. Ambassador Roussel. My throat tightened. Jake stirred next to me. You okay? He mumbled, voice gravelly. I slid the phone under the pillow. Yeah. Just couldn't sleep. He pulled me closer. You're safe here. If only that were true. I curled into him, letting the warmth of his body fight off the chill of the words I'd just read. I knew this couldn't last forever. But I didn't expect the end to come knocking so soon. And now, I had to make a choice. Stay in this dream a little longer? Or tell Jake the truth and risk losing the only person who's ever made me feel like just me? The next night, Jake showed up at my dorm and pushed me inside. Kissing me. Jake's lips traced down my chest, slow and deliberate, like he had all the time in the world to learn me by touch. My legs were wrapped around his waist, the room heavy with heat, breath, the creaking rhythm of something so much deeper than just sex. This wasn't just hooking up anymore. This was worship. This was love. He leaned in close, his forehead resting against mine, and whispered, "You're perfect like this, Theo. Just like this." I smiled. I don't ever want this to end. He kissed me again, harder this time. I arched into him, fingers digging into his back, and I swear I almost said it. I love you. But I didn't get the chance.
The sound came out of nowhere, crack, like a boot kicking the damn door in. I froze mid-thrust, instinct snapping in before thought. I turned fast, heart racing, reaching for the blanket, already yelling, "What the hell?" And then I saw him, this tall guy in a stiff suit standing in the doorway, like he owned the place. Two other dudes in matching military uniforms behind him, and Theo went white, whiter than I've ever seen him. Prince Theo, the suit said, sharp and smooth like he was reading off a scroll. Her Majesty sent us. You're to return. Immediately. Prince. Prince?
Jake pulled back, confusion in his eyes, his hand still gripping the blanket between us. What did he just call you? I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. Jake, I was going to tell you. I just didn't know how. You're a prince? The word fell from his mouth like it hurt. Like it made everything that came before it a lie. He stood, grabbed his jeans from the floor, yanked them up like he needed armor. Jesus! All this time. What was I? A vacation from the crown? A dirty secret? No, I whispered, pulling the sheet up to cover my chest like I was suddenly exposed in a whole new way. You were the only real thing I had. Yeah, he snapped. You had 100 chances to tell me that.
I looked at him, legs tangled in the sheets, cheeks flushed from what we were doing seconds ago, eyes wide and glassy, and I didn't know if I wanted to hold him or scream. I'd been falling in love with someone who wasn't even real. And the worst part? I still wanted him. I need to think, I said, grabbing my shirt off the floor, avoiding the suits like they were ghosts. I couldn't look at them. Couldn't look at him. I walked out barefoot, heart pounding, the echo of Theo's voice chasing me down the hallway.
I sat there in silence, wrapped in cotton and guilt, as the man from the embassy stepped inside. You'll need to dress, he said. I didn't move. Just stared at the door Jake had walked through. He hadn't slammed it. He hadn't yelled. But it still felt like something broke. And I wasn't sure I'd be able to fix it. I didn't wait for the motorcade. I didn't wait for royal permission, or the Queen's opinion, or my next appointment with the etiquette tutor who once scolded me for using the wrong fork. I just left. I ran. Not very royal of me, but very me. And right now, being me meant finding Jake. I didn't care that I was supposed to board a plane back to Ellinhart that afternoon. I didn't care that I'd just been fitted for 5 custom-tailored suits for my public return. I cared that Jake was out there thinking I'd used him, thinking I'd lied because I didn't care enough to tell the truth. But I did care. I loved him. When I reached his apartment, I knocked, twice, loud. No answer. Then I did something ridiculous and dramatic. I sat on the front steps. And waited.
I saw him the second I turned the corner, curled up on my stoop like some lost royal puppy, his hoodie pulled over his head, hands jammed into his sleeves. For a second, I thought I was imagining it, that my brain had just conjured him up out of loneliness. But then he stood. Jake! I stopped walking. You got balls showing up here. I prefer if you looked at my heart instead, he said, voice shaking. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I was scared. Of me? No, he said. Of losing you.
I'm not good at this, I said. Being honest. Not because I don't want to be, but because I was raised to be someone else. Someone perfect. Straight. Powerful. Obedient. I swallowed hard. My mother still doesn't know I'm gay. She doesn't know I've fallen in love with a man who smells like cedar and drywall and calls me out on my bullshit without blinking. Jake exhaled, eyes softening. That's a lot to drop on a guy who's still emotionally naked. I laughed, because of course he'd say that, and kept going. I don't want the crown if I can't have a life that's mine. I don't care what the tabloids say or what the palace demands. If I'm going to be king one day, I want to do it my way. With you.
He stood there, awkward and earnest, and my whole chest ached. I don't know how to be royal, I said. I barely know how to be someone's boyfriend without screwing it up. He took a step closer. You don't have to be royal. Just real. That's what I fell in love with.
We stood in silence, then. Until I added, one of the royal aides suggested we continue the bloodline through a surrogate. Said it would keep the court happy. Jake raised a brow. Seriously? Yep. Modern monarchy, I said, cracking a small smile. But that's a story for another day. I reached for his hand, not sure if he'd take it. He did.
I pulled him into me and kissed him. Not like a fairy tale, not like a crown, not like a secret. Just like someone who'd been missing the hell out of this stubborn, sweet, ridiculous prince. I guess this means I'm dating royalty. I said, more like running from it. He whispered into my neck. With you.
There's a lot I still have to face, a queen with questions, a kingdom with traditions, a future no one expected. But for now, I'm just a boy in love. And that's enough.